Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today I got something special for you, but before we get into it, I just want to make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let me know if you guys like the videos that I'm putting out. I've been putting out a lot recently. I try to post every other day, every second day now. Just realize I gotta be consistent. But yeah, I really appreciate what you guys have been doing on the last videos. And yeah, aside from that, let's jump into this video. So today I wanted to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers in particular, and I wanted to talk about them not in a good light. It's something that is concerning me, and the thing that's concerning me is the Lakers have been doing something unprecedented and just not good in the last few games. They've been off par lately. They've been underperforming in my estimate. You know, for a team of their caliber, the way that they've been going about their business, the way that they've been winning their games lately, it just doesn't sit right with me, and I thought I'd make a video about that. So here's the thing. The Lakers in the last 3 games have all won their games in OT, right? So against the Pistons a few days ago, the Lakers won in double overtime, right? On their home floor, right? And then again, they played the Thunder and they won again in overtime. And then again, they played the Thunder again and then they won again in overtime. To me, this obviously warranted a video. This is not regular, you know? When you see something once, it's whatever. When you see it twice, it's a coincidence. When you see it 3 times, it's a pattern. So I figured I'd make a video about this because it's concerning. It's concerning for a number of reasons. It's concerning, but here's the thing. Nobody else is talking about this issue, right? Not ESPN, not Fox Sport. Nobody's talking about it. No one seems to be picking up on this pattern, right? So were it the Nets or the Bucks or the Clippers or the Jazz doing this, people would be batting an eye, right? I'm batting an eye because it's the Lakers and they're a contender for the title, and, you know, spotlight's on you. It's LeBron James. It's concerning to me because the teams that are giving them a run for their money, that are making them break a sweat, are not good teams. These are bottom feeder teams in a truest sense. In fact, the Pistons, right, are not only the worst team in the Eastern Conference, they are tied for the worst team in the entire league with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the Thunder are the 2nd worst team in the West. These are teams with no big stars and just a bunch of kids, up-and-coming kids, and they are giving the Lakers a work for their money on their home floor, not 1 time, not 2 times, but 3 whole times. You know, this is very concerning. And, you know, to go to double overtime with the Pistons, not just overtime, double overtime with the Pistons on your home floor and them being the worst team in the East calls for, hey, wait a minute, let's slow it down, right? With all that, I think it's indicative that there's something going on with the Lakers, right? And thinking that, I went back to look at those games to see what's going on with the Lakers. What's the pattern, right? Because 3 times it's a pattern. I went back and this is what I found. I found that the reason the Lakers are winning in overtime now, since they want to make it a hobby, is because they're complacent. They are careless and they're playing without urgency. I don't know if it's because they think they're the Lakers, they don't need to be playing with urgency, or that they don't need to take other teams seriously, but this is not a habit that you want to form. In all 3 of the games they played, it's like the Lakers didn't care. It's like they weren't playing with the urgency to win. In both games against the Thunder came out swinging and punched the Lakers square in the jaw. Right off the bat, they hit the ground running, right? And it caught the Lakers off guard. And eventually they climbed their way back up and were able to get to overtime, right? And I don't know if they just have a lack of respect for the Thunder, or I don't know what it is, right? After beating them in overtime, and that overtime being their 2nd consecutive overtime, they thought it wasn't good enough to take the Thunder seriously again. And again, the 2nd time they played them back to back, they came out swinging, they came up to a lead, and they wanted to win this game. They came out playing like, we want to play and we want to win this game, as opposed to the Lakers. And that just doesn't sit right with me. And then in their game against the Pistons, right, they came out and they were winning. They were winning, they had a healthy lead, right? And then they took their foot off the gas pedal. They became complacent, they were resting on their laurels, they didn't want to win as much, right? And guess what that cost them? Double OT to win the game. A game you could nip in the bud and put the opponent to sleep right away. You decided to take it to overtime, and that worked you up. That got you to play extra minutes that you didn't have to play. Would you believe that the Lakers were up 17 points to 20 points in that game and still had to go to double overtime to win that game? That tells you, I don't know if they're taking it seriously or not, right? And you can tell me it's just a regular season or it's just this and whatever, right? But there's consequences to doing this, right? Here's what I mean by that. You don't want to form a habit of winning in overtime. It's not sustainable and it's not beneficial, right? Here's why. When you play overtime games against bottom feeder teams that you should be winning, what you're doing is you're putting extra minutes on yourself that you don't have to play. Especially for LeBron James, who is 36 and has clocked in over 49,000 minutes. That's a lot of mileage. You don't want to be playing that. Put them to sleep right away and get the game over with. You don't want them looking around and making you play extra minutes. And then furthermore, if you build this to be a habit, it's gonna come back to bite you in the playoffs, right? If you build this to be a habit, what you're gonna find that in the playoffs, you're gonna extend series that you don't need to extend. You're gonna play extra minutes that you don't need to play, right? Series are gonna be longer than they have to be, and you're gonna end up playing those minutes while your opponents in the next round are gonna be resting. A team like the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Jazz, they're gonna be resting. And then when you get to play them, they're at an advantage and you're at a disadvantage because they've rested while you were beating another team in overtime for the second time in that series, or you somehow took it to 7 games. So that, coupled with the minutes you're putting on your body, is not a habit you want to form. Don't want to form bad habits like this because bad habits are hard to break. Habits in general are hard to break, right? And this one in particular is not going to be beneficial for you or your team or your body in the future, especially for LeBron. You still got a few more years that you want to play, especially for your age. I'd be watching how many minutes I'm playing, how much mileage I'm putting on my body, right? So I'd encourage LeBron or the coach or anybody to look back on these 3-game stretch and be like, all right, I don't want this to become a problem in the future. Address the team about that. Be like, I don't like this, right? The Lakers play the Grizzlies tonight and I want to see what they do. I want to see how close of a game it is, you know? The Grizzlies are much better teams than both those teams they've been winning against. And I want to see if this is a pattern that keeps going, right? Because this is not something that I want, right? This is going to be detrimental to you in the future if you let it keep going on. Those were just my thoughts on the Lakers shenanigans, and I hope someone picks up on this. But yeah, aside from that, let me know what you guys think about this whole thing in the comments down below. Am I reaching? Is this not call for concern? Is LeBron fine? Let me know down in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe and smash that like button, and see you guys next time.